when you are being asked about your experiences, what's the most common question you're asked?
It's the two questions, and I always find them very important to me. Even if I'm not asked that question, I somehow manage to get it in. Is, are you still religious? And do you hate the German people? Those are two most important. And the answer to giving them about hatred, not to hate, and I emphasize on it, even at the end, whatever you do, please, do not hate, because hate will ruin your own life. And this has got such an effect on the young people.
Our last question today, it was sent in by one of our readers. Is it possible today to build a global company from a market stall to a global organisation similar to the Marks and Spencer experience?
So the short answer is massive, YES, of course.
Oh wow, fantastic.
Without question. You want me to give you a practical example? I work with one. Mike Ashley started off with one store, having been a badminton coach. One store, we now do 1.8 billion a year in turnover, with the 6th biggest sports retailer in the world, and expanding at a rate of knots. So there's an example I work with.
My first question, Alex, is what's a nice Jewish boy being a car mechanic?
Very, very good question. Listen, I've always been interested in how things work and what things do, and ever since I was a kid, ever since I had my first bicycle, I was always interested in how it worked and took it to pieces and put it back together again, so it was like a natural progression. So as I got older, the bicycle became a car. So I went to college, I learned all about it, I learned the theory, and now I'm doing the practical.
How long has Chai Cancer Care been established?
So Chai Cancer Care became a registered charity just 22 years ago in 1990, but it actually goes back to 10 years before, when my mother, Frances Weingarten, who was one of the co-founders, was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer, and she, thank God, made a recovery after 2.5 years of being unwell. And there was no support in the community at that time, so we're talking over 30 years ago.
4, 3, 2, 1.
It's a very exciting day for the London Borough Barnet.
Thank you, David. Yes, it is very exciting indeed. Here we are, beautiful day, the sun's shining and the torch is coming through our borough. Wonderful.
David!
Hi Pam, we're asking members of the Jewish community why they've come out in numbers to support and greet the Olympic torch.
I think it's one of the most exciting things, and it's probably the only time in our lifetime that we'll see the Olympic torch.
Online magazine, we have Rabbi Rosenfeld, who's just completed the 10K. How did you find it?
It was very good today. It was cold. It was easy for me. I wish I'd had more time to train, but you know, being a rabbi, you've got so many things. I never seem to have much time, but it went brilliantly. Thank you.
And who did you raise money for?
I raise money for Jewish blind and disabled. I always run for them. They're a great charity. You know, Norwoods have got thousands, and Jewish Care have got thousands supporting them. I always think a charity like that really needs the help, and I was lucky enough to have my congregation at Western Marble Arch support me tremendously, as they do every year.
And do you think this community fun event is a great Jewish community event?
I think it's an amazing event. I only wish more people would join. It is tremendous how it unifies the community. And today, by the way, being Yom Yerushalayim, we had a service in our synagogue and I came out to run, so I want to wish everybody Chag Yerushalayim Sameach.
That's great. Thank you very much, Rabbi Rosenfeld. Al Quds Day in central London. Can I ask you why you're attending Al Quds rally?
Well, I'm originally from Germany, so I came here to support my Muslim brothers and sisters in a very important event, and I'm here because I want to show up that we have a really big important issue which we have to discuss about, and this is Palestine.
David Barry, Jewish Online Magazine. We're outside a hotel in London N4
where the Israeli Foreign Minister is going to be speaking, and we have a representative from
the British Israel Coalition.
Okay, and can I have a statement from you about what's going to be happening maybe this afternoon?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the Israeli ambassador obviously is coming to speak to just a JNF UK event. We are here basically in the capacity to support the Israeli Foreign Minister as the democratically elected Foreign Minister of the State of Israel. Unfortunately, groups of anti-Israel extremists from the far left, far right and Islamist circles are planning on converging on this place in the heart of Jewish London, and we've basically come here to say they're not welcome here. These anti-Semitic bigots are not welcome in our neighbourhood.
Offices of the Jewish Leadership Council, and our special guest today is Jeremy Newmark, the Chief Executive of the JLC. Thank you for joining Jewish Online Magazine.
It's a pleasure to be with you, David.
Thank you. The US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton said yesterday that she does not expect Jonathan Pollard to be freed. Is it in the JLC's remit to lobby the authorities with regard to this?
David, the JLC is a strategic body. We have a number of member organisations who are actively engaged with day-to-day advocacy work, such as the Board of Deputies, BICOM and others. Specific cases like the complex issue of Jonathan Pollard are really matters for our member organisations to deal with as part of their day-to-day advocacy work. Here at the JLC, we see our role to ensure that those organisations are properly resourced, are able to go out and lobby and advocate on behalf of the Jewish community as effectively as they possibly can. And I'm aware that over the years a number of those organisations have been deeply involved in campaigns like the one to achieve justice for Jonathan Pollard.
Hi everyone, many of you I do already know, but for those that I don't, my name's Danielle Sanderson. I started running back in 1989. At that stage I had not the slightest interest in sport. I mean, if you think of the person you know who is least interested, then that was me. I read newspapers, but I certainly wasn't really aware of the sports pages and really had no interest. I'd vaguely heard of Sebastian Coe and Zola Bard. I had a slight interest in gymnastics, so Nadia Comaneci and Olga Korbut.
Hearty mazel tov on your community completing the 7.5-year Daf Yomi cycle.
Thank you very much, David. We're extremely proud of that. It's been a wonderful achievement, and kol hakavod to Rabbi Bruno, who's been the mainstay of the Shir, together with Brian Obinowitz, who's given a lot of support to the Shir, teaching it over the weekends when Rabbi Bruno hasn't been available, and also to each and every member of the Shir who's made such a tremendous commitment to come and join the Shir on a regular basis, and to their wives who have supported and allowed them and encouraged them to be involved with this wonderful learning project.
Can we chat about what's going to be happening on Friday?
Sure. Well, basically, a little bit of background is there was a call and a campaign fronted by Anki Spitzer, who's a widow of one of the murdered victims from the 1972 Munich Games, calling for the IOC to have a minute's silence during the ceremony Friday evening. Unfortunately, in their so-called wisdom, the IOC have refused and turned down that request.